Sup everybody, this is Karak with ACG, and today I'm 1035. Now some people may claim I'm 1030 all over the place, but I think at most I'd be a 1064, and today I'm gonna do a 1081 status check for a game that tries its best to channel the TV show Blue Bloods, minus of course the horrible family dinner moments and the shit for brains children, and just sort of playing Tom Selleck the entire time, running the police force from on high. You see, This Is the Police is a game about a man facing expulsion from the family he knows, the police force, and he has 180 days to make $500,000. He can do it by cleanly taking up perps, finishing 10-15 burglary calls in progress, and getting the donut patrol to crimes as quickly as he can, mitigating misery, of course, before it happens. Or he can turn the tide to the dark side, lording it up, taking deals with various crime institutions, running your pig trucks and sow crates around in circles while true crimes are being committed. All the while, of course, sucking the demonic hind tit of the evil overlord of crime and injustice known as City Hall. Of course, if you're like me, that's no choice at all. Let's see how it did, shall we? If you liked the video, maybe subscribe. So here's the review for This Is the Police. Darth Tom Selleck sending SWAT to peaceful rallies, and a mayor that makes Boss Hogg look like a goddamn bone marrow donor. Of course, graphics are up first. Now, eschewing a detailed up-close view and instead sort of taking a somewhat overall city view allows for This Is the Police to not only see everything you're doing, but feed it back into the gameplay by giving you various visual notices of particular things, like how long a police cruiser is going to take to get to a location, and more importantly, especially later, how many speeding laws they're going to have to break to get back in time to go to the next call. The entire game is set up like you're making choices on a diorama made of old sick paper and used cardboard, and gives the entire title a flat shaded look, which plays off insanely well when you send out a bacon wagon on a perp drive. Everything is suitably cartoony in a blocky, untextured way and does a really good job informing you as you play, yet, strangely enough, at different times there's little colored effects, like I said, as the police cars are driving everywhere and you see that red and blue reflecting off the buildings. It's very cool looking. Now, when the game does jump to other menus, the graphics can get a bit more detailed, but it's the cutscenes and the static use of heavy voiceover with thick, almost cardboard cutout art goes a very long way to make every interaction important and poignant without breaking an indie developer's bank. Really, I just say this, it's pretty outstanding graphics design all the way through, if it isn't the most detailed of all games. Sound, music, and voice.
Everybody just takes snacks from the machines or grabs a meal and hammers it down in the corner like a vulture on a corpse. The main thing? Don't look into anyone's eyes. Could be construed as an invitation to sit together. The only people eating here are ghosts.
I have a new assistant, Troy Starr. If you have something to tell me, call him. But try not to bother him. He's a busy man.
I'll do my best.
Quit smoking at the office. One of my friends will be using it soon.
And of course, sound is up first. And this may be the first time I've ever said this, but basically, there isn't much. There isn't much at all. There's some sound effects in the cutscenes, various ticks and clicks when choosing items or people in the menus, and the occasional police sirens or shades being drawn over the city as day loses that rhythmic war with the sun, and of course, the criminals come out to play. In all honesty, that's about it. It's good, but it is absolutely one of the leanest when it comes to just overall sound effects games that I can remember in a long time. Music. I love it. The fact that you can even buy more tracks within the game and using game money makes so much sense when you realize that really the entire fiction of the world is supposedly represented in the chief's office. So you're actually buying records from a catalog that are delivered and you put them on in your old record player. The music is absolutely suitable for the Murtaugh-like character that's just about to retire from the police force, with a mix of excellent jazz and various way-back tunes. Really fantastic music. Now, this isn't for everyone. If you're not a fan of this stuff or didn't find yourself a fan after, say, listening to some of the different tracks within the Pip-Boy in the Fallout games, then you probably won't leap at this. It's from another time, as is the main character, though. It's really not about being infinitely listenable as much as eminently connected to the main character. And of course, that brings us to voice. Now listen, someday my idea for recorded epitaphs is going to take off, and if there's anyone in the world I want to record for mine when the one person who remembers me visits my grave, it's the guy who plays the main character, Jack. The dude sounds like he swallowed around 10 gallons of nails with a turpentine chaser, and he fits the overworked, overtired, slightly over his head character to a goddamn T. Now, It's a gravelly affair, and it may rub some people a bit grindy, but this is a dude who's talking to himself in full drawn-out sentences, and some crazy bad shit happens to him. And let's be honest, it's not like Jack gives a shit what you think anyway. Everyone else here is also done pretty well, from your friend who isn't a friend, but maybe is sort of a friend fleeing for his life, and a mayor who's played as one part dick, one part, well, dick. Actually, I would say really, really good voice. Gameplay. As a story, it's actually pretty simple, like Payback and Mel Gibson. For some reason, Jack Boy doesn't want $1 million. He doesn't want $2 million. He wants $500,000 to get out of the game. And after everyone's done laughing at him, he sort of goes to work. Now, you run the game from your seat on high in the office and dispatch police officers to various crimes, odd jobs, and investigations, running a team of both uniformed and ununiformed police officers, as well as separate units like SWAT and paddy wagons. Imagine a large Monopoly board where pieces go out and just get the shit shot out of them because they passed go. That's pretty much this game. Each day begins with you seeing who's on the job and even taking their calls off. Someone may call you and say they watched a movie too late and wants to stay home. Another may say they have family in town, but it's your word that matters. It's yours that's the final. Take the day off, and then come in the next, or hell, you can even fire them for various reasons. Now, once you're done with that, you start on shift and you start getting calls. And because they're all over the city and each takes a different amount of time to respond to, it means quickly you're playing a game of friggin' tag with whomever decided to steal someone else's car. Now, crimes have a number of police that can go, which sort of indicates how dangerous it is, but so too does the text of the crime. So keep a goddamn keen eye out for random little bits within the description like gun, violent, or naked. Major crimes like rape and arson come up and you send investigators in teams to work those out. And as they unlock clues, you can read the clues and then put them together in sort of a series of events like a picture book, and that corresponds to the crime. Once you do it right, you can basically go and arrest that person. Even cooler, you can investigate giant gangs and take them down as well. Now, everyone on the force has a number that indicates their overall professionalism, the average being about 150. Everything you do affects it. If they're tired, overworked, a closet drinker, those all impact how well they respond to crimes. You can also hand out stripes once a week, raising folks' scores. But remember, a high score in the professionalism is only one indicator of how well these characters are going to do when you send them out. There's always a little bit of a gray zone. To me, what's brilliant is around the first day you realize that while the game appears to offer a fairly delineated response path, outgoing officers and the number of spots to a crime, but it is so much more than that, especially because you're also bouncing the city's wants in the guise of the mayor telling you to do some heinous next-level shit, like send someone to peaceful protesters and rough them up, or the fact that people don't wait in line to commit murder. Now, the stuff is also random, so quickly you're starting to dole out resources at the lowest level you can, hoping Officer Tabasco can handle a shooting report by themselves without needing to send reinforcements, or they themselves just getting shot. It's a constant tit for tat with resources, and the best part is, since you have a choice, and when making that choice, time pauses, you can really think things through, and it adds a humanity to the game that I really wasn't expecting. And you'll start to ask yourself questions quite quickly. Do I want what the mayor wants, get the entire populace pissed? Do I send one officer to this crime because I only have 2 total, and another might happen before shift ends, and after that I'm out of people to send because they spent all day bouncing at a nightclub owned by some seedy bastard? And as the saying goes, every choice hurts, because the moment that comes up, well, guess what? It's about the time that the crime lord calls you on some type of bat phone and says, hey, yo, I'm going to run some illegal crap down at the mall. Just don't send anyone, and I'll give you more money than you have seen in 3 months. Money you may need when you don't do what City Hall wanted you to do, so they decide to cut your funding. One step closer to the sun, baby. Now, everything you do has a chance of burning you, and the excellence of having one resource, cops, but having them have little RPG lives of their own reminds me a bit of some kind of very advanced Kirasoft game, but with really good graphics. Hell, even the cutscenes have dramatic moments where you can choose which way to take the entire story. The game's layering of subtlety and subterfuge on top of strategy is very well done, and let me tell you, when you lose an officer in a shooting and another decides it's best to become a Muay Thai fighter, those evil dealings with the crime lords, they don't become a must-have, but they certainly become a must-check-out. When I sit down and really look at We Are the Police, it doesn't always succeed. The fact is it's constantly doling out gameplay systems, though, and the subtlety in which even late-stage choices are made feels like the gameplay loops and systems keep up for a good deal longer than other games of its type. I mean, after many hours, you might not even have unlocked later contacts you have in the city, like the deputy, who's basically Michael Chiklis in The Shield, inviting cops over for dinner, hanging out buddy-buddy with them, doing all manner of cool crap, and then basically doing illegal illegal shit under the table for you at the same time. Almost every action or reaction in the game has something else tied to it, and that was constantly surprising. Sadly, though, at times I felt that We Are the Police was a bit of a failure simulator. Just like real cops, you can't win. You just drive around in your car solving crimes, tell you're depressed, and put your service revolver in your mouth, because too many cartoon bad guys are performing robberies at all the same time. It's not nut-crunchingly hard, but I would say it slaps them around a bit. And in the end, I think that the difficulty, man, at times I really felt like it could have been slightly adjusted, because there are times where you're just like, I am brutally getting my ass kicked here. Sadly, the game has a couple bugs, especially in the menus. They don't always work as planned, and finding out that some cops, let's say, like one thing and other cops don't like another, or somebody's a drinker, doesn't always work in some menus, leaving you clicking on their portrait like you're a goddamn stalker, and just nothing ever happens. You can't see their information. It was really, really odd. Fun factor. Yeah, despite that, this game is an absolute blast. It's just solid, concentrated fun in a game I never, ever expected. And it's not perfect. As I said, it made me want to cry a couple times until I realized that what I wanted to do in no way, shape, or form mattered to the game. It's a little bit like Dark Souls, the cops version. I had to make sacrifices, and those were tough as hell. The fact that I felt that they were tough is a testament to fun factor more so than me talking about it anymore. So anyway, as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch it again rating scale. This is, of course, a buy. You know what? It's not a perfect game. There are a couple issues with it. There were a couple bugs. I wish there were a little bit more sounds here and there. But in the end, this is the most fun I have had playing a game that I just sat down and was surprised to even be playing in the first place in so long, I can't even remember. So sadly, it's time for me to 1039. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike the video, give it a thumbs down. Remember, I've got Patreon, Twitter, whatever. You can follow me at all those different places like Facebook. Other than that, peace out and enjoy the rest of your week.